In 1992, we discussed if white men can jump. 30 some years later, we're asking the same question again. I'm Matt,
I'm Chad.
and you're listening to episode 110 of We Should Talk About This at Work. So how you doing, Chad? This is something new. Well, not something new, something different that we try not to do, but it's just me and you today.
I like how you say that. And like 2 weeks ago, we did an episode just me and you.
The episodes with me and you, I try to forget those.
You just black them out, huh?
Yeah. It's just I talk to you so much, all that stuff runs together.
We gotta we gotta remind people that like we're friends in real life. Like we aren't just coworkers, you know.
Right. So it's hard because like as I plan this for me and you, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna talk about this. I'm like, oh no, wait, I've already talked to him about this. What haven't I talked about so I can add to the podcast?
No, I feel that. I feel that. So before we actually jump into this, I just want to let the good people know that on Monday evening, my cousin Bree and I are going to do a bonus episode on the Worldwide Developers Conference. Do you know what that is, Matt?
I am not familiar with that.
So every June, Apple has an event where they're like, hey, here's what the software wise, what we're going to be working, what is going to be coming out within the next year. So you'll see the new versions of like the software for the phones and iPads and all that stuff. And so, yeah, we're going to do like a reaction podcast to it.
I appreciate the last one, even though like I listened to it and then like later on I asked you a question about Apple products and you was like, did you listen to the episode? And I was like, well, yeah, but I listened to it. I didn't just retain it though. I listened to it. So the problem was I just realized now. I listened to it. I didn't hear it.
Yeah. I thank you for saving me having to say that. No, like, so I will say this. I feel like Apple does a really bad job at explaining what it is that they do software wise. Because like they do like the phone, like the products can do some really cool stuff, but they'll tell you about it like in June, like at this event before you can actually do it yourself, right? And you'll see articles pop up saying, oh yeah, on your iPhone you could do blah 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 blah, and then the updates come out and then it's just like a dump truck of features that it has, and people are like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep using my phone the way I use it. Like, example, when you were here last year, for whatever reason, you did something, and I was like, oh, okay, just take a screenshot of that picture. You took a screenshot of something like on Instagram, and I was like, you can go in and copy the text from the picture. And he was like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, because Apple, they'll tell you one time, and they're like, all right, you got it, cool, next thing.
Right. There used to be a guy who would like whenever there was an update will explain things that you could do. And then one video he said this has had to be 5 months ago. He was like, yeah, once this new update comes with music, and he showed on his phone, he was like, yeah, all your music is like karaoke now. So then you can do that. And I've been waiting for this feature. I haven't seen it yet.
It came out a couple months ago, man.
No, because the way he explained it, if you go to Apple Music,
right,
you type on a song. Well, I'm gonna mute it because copyright stuff.
Yeah.
And then as it's playing, if you hit those three dots, and it will say like karaoke thing, and it will play the music with the stuff. And mine doesn't do that unless I'm doing something wrong.
Well, I don't use Apple Music, but I do know that came out a couple months ago. I'm not sure how it works exactly, but it's supposed to be a thing that you can do right now. Is it possible it's not available in Japan?
Now that part could be true.
So like there's supposed to be rumor like I'm not sure. I know you're in Japan and like you guys it's the future over there, but I'm not really sure how you like do your day-to-day shit. But like do you use like your digital wallet in your phone?
No, I mean, personally, I don't, but they do that. Like, honestly, you mentioned that. Like, I went to the store to get a pizza Friday, and I'm just always like not stuck in my ways, but I'm doing the same way. So when it's time for me to put my credit card into the machine, I put it in there, and the lady was like, it's faster if you just tap it.
Yeah,
And
right.
in my mind, I was like, I can tap this shit, but I didn't say that. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. So that I like tapped it and it worked, and I was like, fucking cool. But I played it like I've been doing this for years. But no, that's the first time I've ever done that, and it worked. So I'm just old.
I'm frustrated. Like when I'm at the store and people like put the card in there and I'm like, oh my God, hurry
Well,
up.
why is that such a big deal? Why can't we put the card in?
It's 2023, man. Like we we
It's
like just
not you act like I'm out here writing checks. I'm writing checks right now too.
that's the modern equivalent of writing a check. Like I'm at the point now where I'll double tap on my watch and like I'll tap the thing.
See, I didn't even know I could do that on my Apple Watch.
Also, I need to
See,
like
I'm old,
I
man.
have to
I
edit.
like to stick to the.
Hold on, I gotta edit the video now because like it flashed part of my card. But okay, this card don't have numbers on it. But like I just double tap my shit and then I'm like, I gotta put the black
Next
bar
thing you
up.
know, people stealing your stuff now. Like, Amazon emailing you, we need to take this something in South Carolina, and you're like, wait,
Right.
what?
Right. But no. So yeah. So like one of the things is like, oh, you're too loud.
Yeah, the wife was just telling me that.
We can't have a good
Okay.
time out here. We can't have a good time.
Nah, she like shut up.
See, that's what happens when you get married. They just steal your joy. They steal your black boy joy.
Hey man, nah, she right, because past episodes when I listen to, I'm like, well, am I so loud? So maybe I'll tone it down. I keep this monotone voice.
Yeah, so like there's a new feature like this. The Apple Wallet is supposed to be redesigned, where it's not as messy, and I'm here for that because I keep a lot of stuff in my Apple Wallet. Like when I get movie tickets and stuff, like after I pay for movie tickets, I hit the button to send it to my app so that everything's just together, in one place.
Right. I get it. I need to come out these caveman times and get with the times.
You really do, man. You really do. But yeah, so speaking of movies and stuff, so I'm not sure if you remember when you were here, but Chesterfield Mall had an AMC theater. If you recall.
Yes. Yes.
So that's like the only AMC with IMAX in the St. Louis area. Like there's one in Edwardsville, but not the St. Louis area. And apparently they closed recently, like permanently shut down. And I get it because it's like it's in a mall and that's like a dead mall.
Mm-hmm.
But it sucks to,
Wait, is that the one by Cheesecake Factory?
Yes.
Okay. Make sure I'm thinking the same one.
And I was just there last month to see Mario. It was dead, but that sucks.
Right.
But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. Let's pour one out for the AMC. But anyway, so I'm not gonna get into what I saw, but I saw a early screening of a movie, and there's gonna be a bonus podcast episode in next week, I think. Before Juneteenth that weekend.
Okay.
But I got to go to a screening. It was a public screening, but a screening nonetheless. Like we're getting closer and closer to being more legitimate,
See, and that's all we care about. Is we want when advanced screenings come out, or we want to be on that team so we can put this content out. So let you guys know if you need to see these movies or not.
Right. And just spoilers, whatever I saw, you guys really need to see it. But so I get there, and when I'm coming back to my seat with the snacks, there's a black guy sitting, and I'm like, that dude looks kind of familiar. How do I know him? And I'm scanning in my brain. I'm like, oh snap. That I think that's this dude that I follow on YouTube that does movie reviews also. But I'm like, but it may not be him because they don't all look alike.
Right.
So, I gum up and I'm like, hey man, are you so and so? And I was like, hey man, are you on YouTube? He's like, yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, you're so and so from so and so's page. He's like, yeah, what's up, man? I was like, oh yeah, I'm a fan, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yeah, man, let's talk after the show. I'm like, okay, cool. So I do want to say that what I did see was a black movie, and the screening was supposed to start at 7, and we did not start at 7. That's all I'm going to say on that matter.
You gotta go. You at least give us what time did it start?
Like 15 after.
Seems about right. Seems on par.
But so like the movie's ending, and the person that I went to see the movie with, new friend of the show, Marie, she went with me, and she's like, all right, so the credits are on, you should go over there and talk to him. And I'm like, but the vibes feel off now, because it's like, for me, I can talk to people, like here we are, but like that like getting the thing off the ground is not always my forte. Like in the dating world, I'm not somebody that can just walk up to a woman and be like, hey girl, what's good? Like I need like kind of a safe bridge. So
a wingman.
Yes. And so Marie was that wingman. She we walked by them. She's like, oh, how'd you guys like that movie? And then they started talking, and I was like, well, let me slide on in with my opinions.
Right.
But
did you let them know like you have your own show that you do on YouTube?
Yeah, I gave them my name, and then the next day I did a follow up, because that's what you do when you network, and you do that good old fashioned follow up. So like I threw some dates at them, but we can only record at a very specific time. So there's some hiccups with that. So we're trying to figure that out. So hopefully he can be on the show in the coming weeks. Yeah, so that was my little movie adventure this week. But apparently, if I'm reading this right, you are having an affair right now, Matt.
I currently am not, but just like you, I watched a movie where the review will be out in a couple of days.
Well, no, what you mean right now?
Oh no! Oh
Last
yeah.
week?
The way we record this, yeah. You're right. As we record this review has already been out. But the thing that got me thinking is, cheating. When people think of cheating, they think of sexually, emotionally, but also, can you cheat with food? Meaning, for example, if I cook something for a coworker,
Okay.
that I am not cooking for my wife,
Oh.
would that be a form of cheating?
Well, I would say it depends on what it is, because like what if it's something that your wife doesn't like, or if she's allergic to it, or she can't have right now, like dietary. So I feel like
We'll
you got to
say
consider those factors.
whatever I'm cooking, the wife will eat too.
Does she want it? Like, is something going on with the coworker? Like, did they have a death in the family or something? Like, is this
No,
is this a hypothetical, or did this actually happen?
no, this is based off the movie review I did.
Okay.
And then branching off that movie review got me thinking that I wanted to bring this up on the podcast. Was like, so like, for example, say if I'm cool with, we just say Sarah, for point of story. Say if I'm cool with Sarah at work, and I'm like, yeah, I want to make chicken and like a meal for her, right?
Okay.
But I don't make it for the wife though. Will you consider that cheating?
I don't know about cheating, but it is suspicious. It is sus, if you will. Like, to what end? Like, why did you decide to do this?
Because all right, now I'm about to fabricate a whole story now. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
for example, so say 5-6 months ago, hey, how you doing at work? And they're like, hey, how you doing? And he's like, oh, what you do this weekend? And I'm like, oh no, I cooked chicken and rice and things like that, and for the family, and they loved it. And like Sarah was like, oh, I wish I can have that or whatever. So it's probably tastes good or things of that nature. So later on, I'm like, oh, let me cook some chicken and rice, bring it to her. That's a scenario because I remember that she wanted to try my cooking.
Okay. I mean, I feel like this is genuinely a situation where there's so many factors at play. Like, do you like this person? Do you like this person? Do you feel pity for this person? Like maybe they moved in from out of town. Like there's so many and they don't know anybody. Like there's so many variables here where it's like I don't know. I don't have enough information to give you an answer.
Okay, so no, she's not new. She's been working here longer than I have.
Oh,
There's no death in the family. I like her in the sense of a coworker. It's not like anything like I'm trying to do anything with her. She said she wanted some food, or she said it probably tastes good, and I'm like, I'm about to feed her.
okay. I mean, in that regards, then sure, go off because I feel like food is love, and not love as in sexual, but like caring. Like
Mhm, mhm.
traditionally, like when people talk about grandmothers, they always talk about how they feed you because that's love and caring. And in that extent, no. Now, if you were somebody that hardly ever cooked, like rarely do you cook, and you cooking this meal out the blue for this woman, sus. But
All right, right, right. All right. You pull out pots and pans, and your wife's like, "What are you doing?"
right. Yeah,
But no,
I
but
would
like,
say no, probably not.
right. Well, and like my situation, I don't cook for them, but I do bring them food for the simple fact that, like, with the different cultures
Oh wait,
and
wait,
stuff
are you
like
talking
that.
about you? You're actually talking about yourself now.
Yeah, now I'm talking about myself to where I bring them food because they're not used to American food and things like that.
Okay.
So I do bring them food and they love it. But also, as I say this, I don't cook this food. All this food is the wife cooks, and then I bring them food that the wife cooks.
Okay.
So I stay on board with everything because they know it's not me. The love, like you said, the grandmother love is not my love. It's the wife's love went through me to give them this food, though. So it's fine.
It passed through me into this plate.
Right.
That's funny.
But speaking of feelings and love, it looks like your feelings were hurt.
My feelings were hurt that I sat through a shitty movie. They were. So
What movie you referring to?
you hurt my feelings. That's the name
Oh,
of the
that's the name of
movie.
the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I got a screening for the new Julia Louis-Dreyfus movie. And like I remember starting the trailer for it a few weeks ago, and like I started it, like I got maybe like 10 seconds into it, and I saw her, and I was like, "Stop! I'm sold. I love her so much." Um,
Mhm.
whether now for those people that actually know her filmography, I am aware that the order of operations was not this, because there was stuff in between. But to go from Seinfeld to the Adventures of New Christine to Veep, hit, long running shows in comedy. She's a woman doing the fucking thing, like consistent, like
Mhm.
so few people can say that. And so when she does a movie, She kind of tries to get a little bit outside of that bubble. And like to just do like a quick aside, the very last time I got to go to an early screening of a movie was like a decade ago. Like I was sort of dating this woman who was a film critic. Like she had a blog of yeah, she had a blog, and she got like she was on whatever list you get on, and she got like invitations to like actual screenings, not like that public stuff that I went to, like real screenings where like after the movie you have to fill out a card and give it to the representative of the movie.
Okay, so the real screenings. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So she took me to a screening of a movie called Enough Said. It was a romantic comedy with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and it was the last movie of James Gandolfini, from The Sopranos before he passed
Mm-hmm.
away.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that movie was quite good. So I'm like, she doesn't do a lot of movies. Like, yeah, she's getting those Marvel checks, but if they drive a dump truck full of money to your house, are you gonna say no?
Of course not.
Right.
I'm gonna be like
So
this. B.
right. So I was intrigued. And so I went in and basically, okay, so this movie's not good. The synopsis is essentially she's a writer, and for the majority of her career she's written nonfiction. And so she decided to write a fiction book, and her editor is like, I don't know about this. And so she's out and about with her sister, and they see their husbands. Like Julia Louis-Dreyfus sees her husband, the sister sees her husband. Like they're hanging out together and they're talking. And so they're like, oh, we're gonna sneak up on them and like kind of, go boo, kind of scare them, being funny. But at the time, they're talking about this new book that she's trying to get her publisher to take on. And the husband's talking about how like he absolutely hates it. Like the book is terrible. And like with every draft that she gives him is worse and worse. But he does not have the heart to tell her that it is trash. And so
So she
like,
overhears him saying that.
yes. And so like that kind of sends her in a spiral. And like essentially the movie is about how like early on in a relationship, and I'm not talking about like a romantic relationship, like a friendship or whatever, you can be a little bit more honest because you don't care about that person as much. But the
Right.
longer you get to know somebody, the more you start to consider their feelings. And you're like, okay, I feel like I know this person. So if I do A, B will happen. So I actually need to do C, And that's basically
Right.
the point of the
Right.
movie.
Right.
And I'm like, this is not that fun. This is sort of a comedy, but it's really dry. It's like it's a very independent movie. Like this is something that has got a very limited release in theaters, and the only reason that it has a limited release in theaters is so it will be eligible for awards. But this is not winning any awards. Like,
So what you're telling me is don't even worry about seeing this.
correct. Like this is, if I was like, oh yeah, let me check this out, and I saw it like on Hulu or whatever, I probably would have turned it off. But since I
Okay.
was in a movie theater, I was like, I'm here.
Hey, that's gonna be the thing is you get these screenings, whatever you go to, you gotta watch the whole thing.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
good though. You letting us know now. So I ain't even because like you said, if I would have seen her in something like, oh, she's in a movie, I'll probably like, let me check this out. But I
Exactly.
know now
Exactly.
I ain't even gonna bother.
Like it feels like whoever I didn't recognize the name of the director, but whoever the director was, she was all like, hey, Julie Louis Dreyfus, you're my friend, can you be in my movie? Sure. Hey, other people that are in this movie, you guys are my friends, you want to be in this movie? And like there's like famous people. Like, do you know who David Cross is? He was
Name sounds familiar.
Tobias on Arrested Development.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Like he has a small role in this movie with his real life wife, who's also an actress. And I'm like, to get both of you in this movie, you guys know somebody that made this movie that asked you for a favor.
Right. Friends. Never dudes.
right. So I'm like, okay, I see what we're doing here, but I'm good.
So in court, when you get a life sentence, basically they're saying that you're going to die in prison. Correct? Right?
That is the idea, yes.
So I saw this article where it says a prisoner who died but was brought back to life claims his life sentence has technically ended. And I was like, no, he got a point. He got a point. He got a point. So, what's your thoughts?
So I always thought it was funny when they're like, this person got like 3 consecutive life sentences. And I'm like, but you only have one life. Like, is that a contingency on like if your heart stops or something? But like, I feel like my man still get a loophole there. But what were they in jail for?
See, that part I don't know. I don't know what they were there for.
Cause like if it's like something truly heinous, nah, my dude, no takesies backsies. But but if it's something like not too crazy, I'm like, well, I mean, can my man's get some abortion? Oh, sorry. Can my man's get some probation?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, he died in prison like you guys wanted him to, but he was revived. So now he's on his second life now. I think, like you said, it depends on what he did. If he was on some heinous stuff, nah, bruh, you got to keep it moving. But if it was something, I ain't gonna say minimum because this dude is on life sentence, so he had to do something heinous. But maybe it was something less egregious. Like, maybe he didn't kill no kids or nothing like that. Maybe it was like some armed robbery or something. Then I said, let that man live.
Well, he is a murderer. I've sussed that out. Okay, the article that I'm looking at is from 2019. So he's 66 4 years ago. So he's 70 at this point. Okay, it says he was sentenced to life without parole after being convicted of murder for killing a man with the handle of an axe in 1996.
Ain't that bad.
Well, hold up a second. Oh, okay. Like I like in the article, the word murder was a link. So I was like, oh, maybe this will give me details about this specific crime. So I clicked the link, and the first thing I saw was a black man. And I was like, a young black man. I was like, hold, did he kill a black man? Because like, no, we can't support this. But no, the that wasn't related. I don't have any details of the crime, but damn, that's a very personal murder, like to like physically, not even the axe, the handle of the axe. So like you did extra work to kill this person.
That is true. That is true.
But also he's 70 years old. So it's like, even if you committed some dirt, when you get old, should you be able to just, live comfortably in the real world?
No, because I've seen stuff where like people got out and they commit things, but I mean, unless like if you were a lawyer or a judge or something, let us know. Is it really just life sentence, or is when they say life is really like X amount of years? Because if life sentence is, if that's the variable and you die, your time is over. And then if you get revived, to me, kind of like you back. Kind of like you could start all over to me.
I mean, I feel like saying life in prison it's a bit antiquated. Like you really probably should just put a number to it. Like you got 200 years in prison, just like
right. I agree. I agree.
But yeah, probably not. But let's keep the book open. Like we can talk about this on a case by case basis. How about that?
I agree. but speaking of prisons, you watched Escape from New York?
I did. So I saw it for the first time last night. Well, I saw the whole thing for the first time last night. I'd always seen the very end where he's or Snake Plissken is destroying like a cassette tape, like he's pulling it's not film. What is that? The stuff in a cassette. Like I know it's not film, but the ribbon or whatever.
I know you're talking about the tape or whatever. Yeah.
I guess it is tape. Okay. I remember there's a scene at the end where he pulls that out, but I had never had any context. So I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, this is a really cool idea. And the effects are pretty neat for the time. But I'm like, for me, it feels it kind of meanders in the middle. Like the whole thing is like there is a terrorist attack on Air Force. Oh, okay, so the city of Manhattan has been turned into a prison, pretty much like Batman Arkham City. And so Air Force One crashes down and the president's on board and like they're like, we need to get the president. So Snake Plissken, who, is the badass of the movie, he gets sent in to get him. And so like he gets sent in, he follows a lead, it doesn't go anywhere. And like it feels like the movie kind of meanders for a bit before like we get the president and then we meet up with the president and then like it kind of meanders and does some other stuff. And I'm like, I don't care about this. Like we could have just made this more of a thing building up to like finding the president. But yeah, so I really wasn't feeling it. But I did learn that the movie was filmed in St. Louis, 1980s St. Louis. And so I'm like, you don't say, huh? So they were downtown and I looked at a little bit of like the making of stuff. And they're like, we really didn't have to do that much to make this look like, a desolate, crime-ridden area.
Oh, that they was like, we need to save some money. Where we need to go to make this look like a crime-ridden downtown St. Louis? Seems about right. Let's go ahead and rock this.
Yeah.
They didn't do. There was no green screens involved. It was right. It was just how it normally is.
All right, and then also like there was like a little interview with Kurt Russell. And he's like, he almost got mugged like between takes, but he's like, thankfully I was like in my Snake Plissken outfit holding like a gun, and so like some dudes ran up on him like they was about to do something, but then they saw he was quote unquote packing,
and they was like, okay, never mind.
Right. So you just added on the outline LSU teachers. What's happening here?
So there was this. I thought you already seen this before, but there was this teacher in LSU. She is preaching abstinence to the kids.
Okay.
And she's doing this outside. So I don't think there's gonna be no copyright stuff, but she's telling these kids different stuff. She's like, so after one mark, I want you to listen to it, please. It's gonna, don't worry, it's gonna be worth it at the end.
Oh, wait. Is this the thing where I saw a thing where it looked like a black lady was on a podcast and she was going
right. So yes, that's what I was gonna show you, but I didn't lead up to that.
Okay.
So the teacher is like, yeah, after one margarita, the girls are gonna open up their legs, and like the crowd, this guys and girls, they cheered. I was like, yeah. And then she's like, after two margaritas, I forget the exact thing. I
thought you had the text ready, man.
Buy her one margarita, she will spread her legs. If you buy her two margaritas, she will pounce right on your penis. After three margaritas, she will grab your penis and put it in her mouth. Four margaritas. She will grab your penis and ram it right up her anus.
What happens after
2, 3, 4, 5.
She will strap it on and peg you.
A couple quick thoughts after watching this hilarious routine. What happens after 6 margaritas? I mean, if she's pegging you at 5, Lord knows what happens at 6. I mean, but
why is my man inserting himself in here?
Fruit, vegetables, there's some celery.
All right, stop this one. So speaking of him, he's Kev on stage. So he's I don't know the details. I don't know who this woman is, but I found I sent it to you to where she makes a little rap. Here you go, right below. Margarita Freak song. And this bops. This bops. I think this might be the song of the summer.
You buy her one margarita, she will.
Oh no, that's not it.
I mean, maybe it's got to go for a little bit.
When I heard it, I said, this sounds like a rap song. Give me a beat, Kev. This sounds like a rap song.
This is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, this one right here.
Hey, give me one margarita, I'ma open my legs. Give me 2 margaritas, I'ma give you some head. Give me 3 margaritas, I'ma put it in my puss. Give me 4 margaritas, I'ma put it in my tush. Give me 5 margaritas, I'ma have some fun.
I like
give me
the dance,
5
man.
margaritas, I'ma put it in your bun. I'ma put it in your bun. Why did you do that?
But what is 6? What happens with 6?
I don't know. if we go to peg it at 5, I don't know what happens at the 6.
Like, did she actually say what 6 was?
I don't know. I didn't watch the whole video for talking, but I just thought I know somebody gonna make that a song and everything, and people will be listening to that one.
He's not even wanting a tamale. He will spread her ounce right on your.
What about 3?
Margarita. She will grab your penis. No man wants a pooping penis. No way. 5 margaritas.
10. You catching the case?
Catch a case.
How far can I go?
Is there anybody here that drinks 5?
The girls into it too, huh?
Bitch, I'm freaking sick.
Man.
2, 3, 4, 5.
She will strap it on and peg you.
Where's Will? We like that.
It's fucking funny. I might skip my class for this shit.
That little sermon is don't ever take an LSU girl to a Mexican restaurant.
So at the end of the day, we are saying that girls that go to LSU are more likely to perform sexual favors. Like, are we like categorizing them in a box? Or are we putting them in a box? That's what that woman's doing.
No, not LSU women. It's just LSU women that go to Mexican restaurants.
Oh, okay. That clear.
Right.
Okay.
Like if you went to a soul food or Chinese restaurant, no, none of that stuff is going on. But if you take them to a Mexican spot and they get those margaritas up in them, it's a whole different story.
Okay. All right. I appreciate you clearing that up. Thank you. All right. So last thing before we do the main event, you are playing catch up with me, Matt.
Yes, I finally got Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I just touched down to the ground.
Okay.
One thing, like before I got it. I was watching YouTube videos of things you should know before you play and stuff like that. And one thing I was happy to know that they said that if you've already played
Breath of the Wild.
what's the first one called? Breath of the Wild, and your horse is already saved when you go to the stable. So you ain't got to work. Well, you do have to catch a new horse to bring them there, but then once you get in there, you can replace it with the horses that you've already had saved from the previous game. So I thought that was cool.
I gotta look and see how to do that. I registered my first horse today, but I didn't really go into the stables to investigate anything.
Yeah, so I did it today. Like I grabbed a random horse, came over there, registered him, got the pony points, and then when you take them out, it should have your other horses that you had previously for the game. So I pulled the one that I had like 100% bonding with, and and I've been using that one. But no, it's good.
So hold up. I like how the game's like it has reward points and shit, like a credit card.
Hey man, you got to make sure you you use this thing. Yeah, because like one of the reports is like a wagon, and you hitch it to your horse.
Yeah,
like whatever, you can get one of those things or whatever. So I don't know what I need to use it for. I haven't done it yet, but there's so much more stuff you can do in this one as far as gluing things together, going through walls, and reversing time. So I'm still learning a lot, but no, I'm really enjoying this one.
So that's something that I kind of don't like. I don't want to build stuff. That's one of the many reasons I didn't get into Fortnite. Or so like I'm playing the game and it's like it would be a little easier if I would just build stuff, but I'm like, I don't want to. All right, so this week we watched the 1992 and the 2023 version of White Men Can't Jump. So the original starred Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson. I wouldn't say at the height of their powers, because Wesley had a lot of good stuff, along the up in the horizon for itself. But I feel like that's Woody Harrelson. He was coming off some positivity, some positive buzz from Cheers,
Right.
You had a young Rosie Perez, so just things were clicking in place for folks. And then the 2023 version has Sequoia Walls and Jack Harlow. And I'm not super familiar with Sequoia Walls, but I know Jack Harlow's a rapper. That's all I got for you. I know he raps.
I'm on the same page. Right. I know he raps. I have no idea what a song is or anything like that, but I just know he raps.
The original is about two guys. They have a volatile relationship, but they decide to band together and play 2-on-2 basketball, whether it's hustling people at local basketball courts or a big tournament. And then there's some side stuff about Woody Harrelson and his relationship with Rosie Perez and Wesley Snipes trying to get out the ghetto.
Like we all are.
Right. I really liked that storyline, man. Spoilers. What was the remake about?
The remake is about two basketball players. For different reasons, they both had potential, but did not make it, and they are eventually come together to make money for their lives. Basically, to make lives for marriage, for love. They enter a contest so they can win money.
Okay, so I guess before we actually get into like specific things, which of these movies did you like more?
The original.
Why is that?
I watched the original multiple times, young kid me or whatever.
Okay.
And when I watched this again, I I don't want to say love. Love is strong. I really enjoyed this movie. I like the characters, the banter, the basketballness, the trash talking, the comedy. Of course, there is things, slurs and stuff like that we don't do nowadays. But overall, I really enjoyed it. And like still to this day, foods that start with a letter Q. I've been knowing this since back in the day. So I love that. Yes. Quiche. So I really enjoy the first one.
Okay. So I want to put that out here before I just want to put it out here. I didn't like either one of these movies, but I like the remake slightly more, only because it was more focused. So what I mean by that is, in the original, Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson agreed to do some scams on people so that they can do this tournament. Cool. But then Wesley ends up scamming Woody Harrelson. And I'm like, I thought the plan was to win the basketball tournament. What are we doing here? And then they got this side plot that takes
that was before though.
No. He said that when he came to Woody Harrelson's house, he was like, hey, there's a big basketball tournament coming up. We could play some pickup games to get the money for it. That's why they were doing those hustles so that they could play in the tournament. That's what he said. That's what he said to him in the hotel when he busted in.
Okay. But he didn't. Okay. I see what you're saying. But in my defense, that's because, yeah. Okay. No, go ahead.
And I'm not shitting on you for liking the movie. I'm just saying that I had issues with that. The movie you clearly stated very early on, this is our mission statement. And then the movie's like, no, just kidding. Oh, double just kidding. We're actually going to do that thing that we said we weren't going to do, that we said we were going to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so, but then we do the basketball tournament, and then the movie still has 45 minutes because now we have a subplot where we're watching Jeopardy. And I'm like, what is this movie? And also, I don't like how this movie is actually about Woody Harrelson and not about both of them. It feels like the stuff with Wesley Snipes was stereotypical and also an afterthought, where they're like, oh yeah, we want to get out the hood. But we don't learn that until 45 minutes into the movie. We don't have a scene with just Wesley until it's oh, we need to get out the hood 45 minutes into the movie.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, that's how it was. But I'm saying, but in the same vein, the Jeopardy was in day one. I mean, as soon as he gets back home, they laid the groundwork of Gloria trying to get on Jeopardy. So when the whole storyline goes through and then she finally makes it on Jeopardy, it makes sense.
Right. But from a storytelling perspective, why isn't that happening the same time as the basketball? Why did the basketball story end? The whole reason why I came to this movie. And now we have 45 minutes of this other thing. They should be more intertwined.
Well, I see what you're saying, but the thing is, Jeopardy was never going to call her.
No, I understand that. But they still could have had some sort of falling out, and he still could have did what he needed to do before the tournament. It just makes no sense.
He did do it before the tournament.
No, he did it after the tournament. He lost he lost the money to Wesley on that stupid bet, and she broke up with him. And so that's when he came to him and he's like, hey man, can you help me out? And so we're done with basketball, right? And now we're doing Jeopardy. And I'm saying that stuff needed to be happening at the same time. I'm not saying that the tournament needed to have happened while she was playing Jeopardy. I'm saying our whole conceit of the movie should not have ended 45 minutes before the movie's over.
Oh, you mean that tournament? Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. The tournament where they got the money.
The basketball tournament.
Right, but then later on they had a game with Duke and I can't remember the person's name, Duke and whoever.
Yeah,
that was
right. But like that shit was pulled out of the movie's ass because like the movie's building up to the basketball tournament. I'm just saying, story structure, the movie's all over the place. And I didn't like how this movie's actually about the white dude and not about both of them.
Well, yeah. It's mainly the main story is Billy Hoyle. Yes.
Yeah. And also I learned this literally right now. The director of this movie is a white man.
Seems about right.
Right. So yeah,
that gets me correct with not the director, but the writer for this one. Seems about right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at that too. One of the writers on this movie, I'm like, okay, but yeah, but to be fair, I did not care for the sequel at all because I'm like, this year is the year of our Lord and Savior 2023. Why are we making all these race jokes? And these characters are younger than you and me. Like we're closer to 40 than 30. And these characters are in their mid to late 20s, and they have all these weird hangups about race. And I'm like, they make many comments about gentrification. And so like, I would think that if you went to school in the 2000s, you're in like elementary school or whatever in the 2000s, you are going to school with more than just Black people, especially in LA. Like that's very diverse there. And so it's like, why? I'm sorry.
I completely agree. No, I'm saying I completely agree. And that's where I do not like this movie at all. The newer one.
Right.
What's the name of this movie?
White Men Can't Jump.
At least the first one had a plot of him can't jump. Him not being able to jump. What does White Man Can't Jump have to do with this other movie?
I feel like there is a nugget of them trying to acknowledge the title, because if you recall, when he jumped during the first tournament, he hurt his ankle. So like I feel like in this one, the point is this white man can't jump for health reasons. But
right, because they made multiple they made multiple mentions in there in this movie saying white man can't jump or whatever like that. They made emphasis. They showed white man dunking and everything else like that. So I hated this movie, actually. Or I shouldn't say I hated. There's a lot of stuff I did not like about this movie.
Yeah.
I feel like the dialogue was, let's take stuff we see on Twitter and add this as dialogue to this movie. To where like all of this stuff, like all this race stuff, you can even say like when the original came out in the 90s, this was a thing that people were saying. I even get some race stuff on the basketball court, but all this race stuff in the dialogues and everything else like that is not happening now.
Right.
So I feel like Kenya Barris always has to do stuff with race, black and white.
Yep.
That all this stuff didn't need to, like all of this, like all the side comments, the comedic one-liners and everything about race is like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this should just been a standalone movie.
Oh,
like if you take
not White Man Can't Jump, just like we're playing basketball, the movie
basketball, whoever, and this will have been a totally different thing. It's because like they tried to put little things from the original one into this one,
like
to
what?
where
I didn't, because I watched them in reverse order. So like what?
Okay, so for example, when Gloria and Billy Hoyle's in the car, he plays some music and he's like, and she's like, oh, this song really turns me on.
Oh yeah, yeah. She
on this
okay.
lap while they're kissing, everything like that. That made sense. That song really turns her on, so she knows it's not a safe environment, but that music really turns her on. That's why she's doing that. On the new one, he just gave her a little trinket ballerina thingy, and next thing you know, she's getting on his lap and everything else like that. It was just like, what are we doing here? Yeah. So it's like they took certain stuff from the first one, added to this one, to where it was like it was not necessary. This should have just been a standalone movie. I did not care for this movie, but with that being said, I have personal issues with my father dying. So when he was going through that did hit me emotionally about stuff like that. But with that being said, no, this was not good. It did get better, in my opinion. It did get better after they lost the first tournament, and then they went to the second one. And I want to give props here. I know of Tiana Taylor. I know she sings.
I wanted to talk about her too.
That. So I know she sings in this and maybe raps. I don't know. And I know she's acted in some other things. But she was perfect in this role. Yes. I enjoyed her acting. Yes. I know she has some other movie out right now called 1000 something. I was not going to check this out, but her acting in this has made me want to watch this. So I'm a fan of Tiana Taylor. I'm giving her flowers right now. And just like I put her in my category of Ali Wong, who I am supporting right now going further, I'm going to put Tiana Taylor with my Ali Wong character or person who I'm supporting. I loved her in this.
Yeah,
when she was like, when his father died, and she was like, yeah, I'm gonna put my 5,000 up. I'm not betting on the basketball game. I'm betting on my husband. I felt that in my heart. I was like, that's the kind of woman I want and everything. So I love that.
No, like I made a note about her too. Like she is acting in a different movie from everyone else in this movie.
Yes. Yes.
She's acting in a much better movie. I'm like, yeah, she just felt real. Like it did not feel like she was acting. I know many women like her character. And it just felt so real and authentic. And I'm like, yes. Aside from this other foolishness that's happening in this movie. Jumping back to, but yeah, so like, but the thing I liked about the movie is story structure wise is focused. We're gonna do this tournament. We lost the tournament, but there's a bigger tournament. We're just building to tournament because we need money from tournament. Not all this. Oh yeah. Now the last 45 minutes of this movie is us watching his girlfriend do dance stuff. Jack Harlow's girlfriend.
Right.
I do.
Honestly, I'm kind of happy that they didn't show that kind of stuff, like her out doing that thing, and it was kind of like she's out there. All right, come back, and we're good to go.
All right. Jumping back to 1992, I did not care for how they treated Rosie Perez. Like almost every scene she was in, Woody Harrelson was telling her to shut up, and I'm like, sir, you need to shut up.
Oh yeah. And then like also I thought about when they were in the bed and he throws water on her, throws the glass of water in her face, and she kind of like laughs it off, but kind of angry. I was like, that's not good at all.
No. Also, like, that's not real. Like, she's Puerto Rican. I'm sorry to say it like this. So she's Puerto Rican. She wasn't taking that shit in 1992.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
But also, I do have a question about the ending of the original. So they play the tournament with the guys and they get $5,000, right?
Okay.
And Wesley's like, hey man, I really need to move, and that $5,000 that I got from the game, that tournament we won, was stolen, right? They end up giving the $5,000 to the people that Woody Harrelson, that Rosie Perez owes, and then the movie ends with a freeze frame high five, like they did something, but you are still in the hood, Wesley Snipes. Why is the movie ending here? You don't have the money anymore.
Well, are you sure it was $5,000? Because they owe the Stuckey brothers $8,000.
I mean, he gave them what he had, and they was like, "We good here."
Because maybe he cut a deal and he only had to give them a partial of the money and everything. So because I'm like, yeah, they owe the Stuckey brothers $8,000, and if you say that was the cash war was $5,000, that means that's $2,500 a piece, right? Mm-hmm. Or they both got $5,000.
That's what I was saying. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
You see, yeah, details, man. You care about details. I enjoyed it. Like,
I'm sorry if I want to understand a story that I'm watching.
See, and also I love when, like, I remember as a kid where what's his name, Kadeem Hardison at the beginning, the first one, we was like, we going Sizzler, and then my mind, I didn't know what Sizzler was because we didn't have where I'm at. I didn't know what that was till later, right? And I was wondering, what does Sizzler be? Is that a restaurant? Is that a strip club? What's going on? I didn't know what Sizzler was.
Same.
Right. But yeah, this is not good. I mean, if you a basketball person, maybe you would care, but not even a basketball person. I don't know. Like,
I'm just gonna crap on the new one. The new one's not good. I didn't like the first one, but I feel like also you have nostalgia goggles on.
Nah, man, I watched that again. This shit still fire to me. I watched this. I enjoyed it. Every single thing about this. The second one. I mean, the language and things. Certain things we can leave in the 90s. But overall, I still enjoyed it. This is, and also like to me. Sorry, the iconic scenes for this one. It was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to my car.
Oh,
and get my gun. I'm gonna shoot everybody in here, and everybody's running around, jumping over the fence and everything. That's just, to me, that's iconic.
I thought it was
also like. Sorry, I left the beginning part of that where he was like, he tried to rob him. And he's like,
I thought that was hilarious.
Is this Joey? Nah, this ain't Joey.
No, I thought that was hilarious when he's like, "Oh yeah, I got the money in my car." He goes to the car, gets a gun. It's like, "Well, I'm just gonna rob the store." That felt like something that would have been in like, what was it? How to drink your juice in South Central. What's that movie?
Don't be a menace while drinking your juice. In the hood.
That felt like something that would have been in that movie. Just like how random it was. I thought that was really funny. But something that I did find kind of interesting was that Wesley Snipes' character in White Man Can't Jump felt like the prototype to his character of Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man. I'm not sure if you felt that.
Elaborate.
Like the way he like trash talk on the basketball court, and like how just like basically like a cartoon character. That is his Simon Phoenix character.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and that's what I loved about the first one is all the trash talking, and yeah. So I made my notes. I was like, I love the trash talking on the court, and on my note is like, the offensive word in the first one that they used multiple times that kept offending people.
What?
Chump. What? They got really, like, every character that got called a chump got very agitated, like that was something bad. So I guess in the 90s, chump being called a chump, it was like calling somebody a bitch or something like that.
Okay.
And the only little note I got was when they went inside Sidney Dean's house and they was watching a basketball game. You see that little ass TV?
It was a different time, man. It was a different time.
I don't even know what that was. What was that, like 25 inch? I don't even know what that was. But like I enjoyed Rosie Perez in this, and I was like, afterwards, I was like, let's see what kind of stuff she hasn't been in things. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if she did this voluntarily or not, but I loved her in this one. I wish she should have been in more things.
I mean, she was in stuff, right? I mean, she was the last thing. The last thing I saw her in was Birds of Prey, and that was like 2020. But like,
Right.
She was doing stuff, right? She's fitting stuff, right?
Now look, before 2020, see what she was in. I know she does voice acting for some stuff, but nah, she should have been like, maybe she could have been the Puerto Rican version of what Selma Hayek was doing, representing and doing things of that nature. But also, 90s, early 2000s, they wasn't really caring about representation. So who knows?
So like, nah, because there's like, oh yeah, we got Rosie, and that's all. But they weren't literally letting her do anything. But I'm scrolling, I'm like, oh, she's on Dora the Explorer, Law and Order. I don't know what most of these things are. What happened, Rosie? Why they do you dirty?
Exactly.
Oh, dude, no. Stop. She was the sexy woman in Road to El Dorado. You remember
the voice? Yeah.
I don't think I realized that was her.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, they need to do live action Road to El Dorado.
Yes, and also with all these damn Disney remakes, they need to do Atlantis. That's that's the one we wanted. Our generation has wanted for 20 years, but they won't do it.
Who would play her in Road to El Dorado? Jenna Ortega? Jenny Ortega? Was it Jenna? Yeah, Jenna Ortega.
Yeah. You hear that the internet's mad at her because they found out she smokes?
Weed?
No.
Cigarettes?
Yeah. But
wait, was it like paparazzi saw her smoking a cigarette?
Yeah, but like most actors smoke because it's like, they were especially like when you were like trying to get your big hit and you can't afford food, what's gonna stop that hunger? Right. Cigarettes.
I was thinking Ben Affleck, him smoking outside. It was like he's all stressed and everything. All right, okay. I mean, at least vape. Come on, you smoking regular squares out here? At least vape. You gonna be stinking, girl.
I mean, maybe she does stink. I don't know.
Wait, what she smoke? Did she smoke Newports? Now I'm curious. Now, let's see. What does she smoke? Marlboros? Don't tell me you smoke Marlboros, girl.
I don't think
Ortega brand of cigarettes. 22 hours ago, Jenna Ortega responds to smoking a cigarette. I really just want to know what brand she smoked.
She responded to the outrage.
What'd she say? So I said, "What is my queen doing? I thought she was perfect. out of everything, she chooses a cigarette."
So like the link I clicked on, it was just somebody talking about her reaction, and
there you go. YouTube. Let's see. Sorry, I got ads on my YouTube.
Oh yeah, poor people YouTube.
You ain't paying for nothing. Oh no, it's just this dude. I don't want to listen to you. Yeah, you're right. He got me. Fuck you.
It makes sense, but I do find it funny.
I mean, I wouldn't have in my mind, I would have been like, she smoked regular cigarettes, but then I would have kept it moving. It wouldn't be like, man, I can't. I'm disappointed in her.
I mean, I feel like she's got some good people around her, like her publicist or whatever, to have hidden it for this long,
But like, also, what's wrong with smoking squares?
Smoking cigarettes is so in America. It's so taboo, man.
I mean, I get it. It's I was thinking about the smell though, because I know they smell horribly.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's taboo. Like, there's been a whole campaign the last 35 years to basically make it so inconvenient to smoke,
Right. In the States, yeah. Because I know,
Europe and,
yeah,
and
and
Asia is different.
yeah, because you got like you can't smoke in airports in the States, but in Japan, you got these little rooms where you can smoke in. In the mall, you have little rooms to smoke in. Yeah. But Chad, what do you think the Rotten Tomatoes on the 2023 Right Man Can't Jump?
63.
Very close, 64%.
Oh, snap.
Audience score. Wait, normally when you do this, you do tomato meter or audience score?
Tomato meter.
Oh,
I
Chad,
guess
what do you think the Rotten Tomatoes is on 2023 White Man Can't Jump?
That's funny. That's funny. So it's not. I'm gonna stick with my 63.
How about don't go above 30?
Damn. 28.
26% tomato meter. With an audience score of 64%. With tomato meter 74 reviews, audience score 250 plus ratings.
Okay.
I don't have any trivia for this one.
That's
only trivia I got is this shit is trash. Don't go see this. Kenya Barris, this race shit. Fuck, man.
Yeah, he's the fucking worst. I don't know. Well, I was gonna say I don't know why people work with him, but same thing that we was talking about with You Hurt My Feelings. You make enough friends that they're gonna fucking work with you.
Right. It's just like I get when you want to have a like M. Night Shyamalan, your gimmick, or not your gimmick, I shouldn't say that. Your
stick.
Your thing, your stick is mystery things or whatever.
Twist
you don't
ending.
want your stick. Yeah, you don't want your stick to be race movies.
Yes. Is this a remake? Uptown Saturday Night. Oh my god, that's the next thing he's working on. It's a remake
Uptown Saturday Night.
It's a remake of a 1974 movie with Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby.
You know what? I remember when Fast X was coming out, and people were complaining, and they were like, "Why do they keep making this?" Right? And then I saw an interview with Ludacris did a couple weeks ago when he was like, people stop coming up to me asking me, why do we keep making this? And then he brought up was the last one they did, $200 million to make. It grossed over $1 billion. Of course, they're going to make new ones. So I blame you. You in particular, because you went to go see it, but everybody else who's going to see this stuff, they're making it because you guys are making them money.
Yeah.
So if I'm not on my castle culture here, but I gotta stop allowing him to do this.
No, so just a second. Well, Kevin Hart's in that remake, by the way, our favorite.
Shit,
might as well
is a
bring
Rock
the
fucking want to be in the Rock in there, right? Is a Rock in this too? Let me just see.
No, like it's the same argument, like when people are like Walmart kills small businesses, right? It doesn't. Walmart is there, and people choose to go there and spend, child labor prices over, the more expensive small business. People are choosing to just quote unquote turn their brains off and watch a shitty movie where a car car stops bomb from blowing up, and it gets $1 billion, and then people are like, why do they keep making these? So yeah, I agree. Like, if you don't want this shit to happen, be effective with your money. Like, there's a movie coming out in a couple weeks that I personally do not support, so I will not go see it and give it money.
Mm-hmm. And that's like I get it for like niche stuff. Like people want like fast X and things. I get it, the action and everything like that. I get that. So some people are not here for it for the elaborate stunts and the incoherent gravity defying things. I get that, but you're here for the action and everything. I understand that. But who's here for this race stuff though? So like, is this appealing to young black people? Is this appealing to young white people?
This is
like
appealing
to me,
our parents.
okay.
Because
I'll get back to you that. I'll have my parents watch this and report back to what they
don't do that, because that's gonna give it points on the streaming ratings. But
you're right.
My thing is,
see,
like,
everything I just said.
Do you remember when You People came out? And you, me, Fran, and Rachel, we are all within a few years of each other in age, and we hated that movie. And half of us are in interracial relationships in that quad there, and we also had stuff that we fucking hated about that too. But if you look on Facebook, if you remember Facebook around the time, and like there were older people that we used to work with that were just like, that movie was so good, it was hilarious, I'm gonna rewatch it. And it's like, he's not speaking to us with the things that he's working on. Like they remade a movie that's 31 years old. That wasn't for us, man.
I hope that. See, the thing is, when I wish bad on a movie, I'm not taking away from the actors and actresses because they were fine. It's not their fault. They're just doing what they were told to do or on the scene. But it's just like you said, he's not going to learn until till his stuff bobs.
Right, and he has the installation of his stuff's been going to streaming. So like. How can you truly say, well, publicly, if something failed or not, you know?
Right. So I haven't seen any reviews online for this movie yet, but it's just, I mean, Tiana Taylor would stand out.
Yes.
Give her all the flowers, all her props. There's nothing against her, but it's just like, come on. It's like,
I'll say this.
Black as girl, like all this race stuff is just like, it's tiresome.
I'll say this. Somebody that we know posted on Facebook that they didn't care for the movie. And I looked at the comments, and the wind started to shift when older people started posting.
All right. Well, let me later on, I'll divulge in Facebook to see what's going on.
All right. Let's get out of here. We can really talk to each other.
All right. Thank you for listening. Please rate, like, and review our podcast on your platform of choice. If you have any feedback, please email us at weshouldtalkpod@gmail.com. Please follow us on YouTube. We are having multiple content coming in the days and the weeks and everything. One more time, please follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at We Should Talk Pod. Follow Chad on Letterboxd at BOW1213 and me at Mr. King 0257. Join us next week as we're going to review Pathan. Also, look out for a review of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
That is going
Friday.
to be Friday. So in 2 days. So we want to thank you guys for listening, and now you know what we used to talk about.